Today is Sunday, August 10th, 2025, and it is Yom Rishon, first day of the week, 16th day of Av, Menachem Av, 5785. The parsha of the week is at Eikev, and this is the PL-89 calendar, gematriatic thought calendar, aka the PL-89. I was calling it the Mercury calendar, but then in the Daf Yomi, we're talking about an idol that was Mercury, so I'm not referring to it as the Mercury calendar as much, but it's connected to the planet Mercury. But I'm not really calling it as much the Mercury calendar anymore. But it's connected to the planet Mercury and the chemical element Mercury in a few ways. And the purpose of it is to connect ideas mathematically that are found in the Bible. And any thought or question can be expressed in numbers, and if they're seen in these numbers, they can be number one, remembered easier. Remembered. Everything is in front of you, and if you are numerically inclined, you can see patterns, and it having a hard time finding the words for it. But basically, it shows connections. Let's put it that way, and it takes into consideration the sun, the moon. It has the Julian calendar in mind, which is 13 days behind the solar calendar today, the Gregorian calendar, and the Hebrew calendar, the Daf Yomi. So the number of the Daf of the day is important, and a 90-day period or a 3-month period is thematic of this. In fact, the amount of squares that you're looking at right now is 80 squares, but under here is an invisible, not theoretical, but invisible. It's counted as T1, T2, T3. It's not visibly on the thing, but it's very much a part of this calendar. And every day has a box, and the numbers in the boxes, I don't know if you can see them, but it's based on 8 plus 9. And the reason that it's 8 plus 9 is based on a verse in the book of Leviticus that has been explained before, and maybe for another time as well in the future. And every day has a box. The cutoff point is 40. 40 is the numerical value of Goel, meaning Redeemer. And it has two, as it were, 40-day months. So this is 80 days, 40 and 40. And with these numbers, you can get any number, any whole number possible, ad infinitum. And that's done by something called the rule of 40, which any given number in this table, if you add 40 to it, it's considered the same number. And by doing that, you have every number. So for example, let's say today is the 16th day of the month of Av. So we'd be in box 16. But since it only goes up to the 40, if I want 46, where do I go? I go to that box too. 86, that box. I'm sorry, 56. 16 plus 56. 16 plus 40 is 56. So let's say I want 56. Where do I go? I go right here. If I want 96, right here. 2,016,000 over here. So that is the law of 40, and that's how we get any number you could think of. Now we're on the 16th, and what's interesting about this calendar is that there's certain numbers, and this can be explained through a simple arithmetic understanding, but I can't really explain it so clearly, and I don't know if many people could or not, but it seems to me that it would be simple. But there are certain boxes that, let's say the first box is 8, the second box is 17, the third box is 25. If you're adding 8 plus 9, So 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 8 is 25, plus 9 is 34. Cut off at 40, it goes to 2, because it would be 42, but then it's 2. But 2, 11, 19, 20. So all the boxes, they're different numbers than actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? But when you get to 16, it's a 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you have the last digit, like 34 would be 4, but it's not. 4 isn't 34. It just has the last digit the same. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 11, 19, 20, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16 is actually a 16. And it happens that way again with 32. I can see why it would, because 32 is just 16 times 2. And then those are the two numbers that it happens at, where it's exactly on that. It happens again, believe it or not, at a number that's not related to those. It happens at 14. When you keep counting, you keep going, on the 14th day of a month, you'll be in box 14. I don't know why that is. Can anyone explain, any mathematicians could explain why, if you're going in a sequence of 8 plus 9 and you superimpose the calendar onto it, meaning you start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that if you come to, and that means that this would be 1, okay, 1, 2, and let's just say, and it's based on 30 days. So let's say there's 31 days, then you just stay in the same box. And if there's 29 days, like in a Jewish month, you can go ahead one box. Basically, that's what I mean by superimposing the calendar. If you superimpose the calendar onto it, then on the 14th day of the month, you'll be in box 14, but all the other numbers are different. And on the 16th day of the month, you'll be in box 16. And there's no such thing as the 32nd day of the month, but if there were, you'd be in box 32. But where does 14 come into that equation? How is 14 like that? Okay, there's another number, I think. Yes, one more. 30. When you get to 30, and you superimpose the calendar, meaning in this month, you start always, the first of the month is always on 23. Because, again, like I said, just to reiterate the point, if Gregorian month has 31 days, it just stays in the box before it. And if a Hebrew month has 29 days, which it often does, it is included in the 30th day. It's the day is like a 2 become 1, and in the opposite case, the extra one gets shrunken back into the 1. That's how you keep the structure and the order. If you do that, a 30-day month, which is a biblical, what I was taught was a biblical month. And that's actually, you can find that in the verses in Genesis about Noah. It said 5 months and 150 days. So that would have to mean that a month is 30 days, because 5 times 30 is 150. So it says he was on the water or waiting on the water for 5 months, 150 days. So, I'm guessing that the reason why 30 comes in box 30 is that this is based on the 30-day month. That's my guess. But I don't know where 14 comes. Why would 14 be in that equation? Why would it be that when you get to 14, you are in box 14? Does it happen with any other boxes? Yes, it does. It happens with 12. It happens with 12 because you start in here, and box 38 is always the first of every month. Whatever month it is, it doesn't matter. You're always, the first of the month has to be 38, box 38. So it goes 38, 7, 15, 24, 32, 1, 9, 18, 26, 35, 3, 12. Those are 12 boxes, and you're in box 12 there. Now, again, it could be very simple, but why 8 plus 9? Is there an equation that you can write out? And what would that be? Is this algebra? Is this just arithmetic? Or applying algebra to arithmetic, or like what branch of mathematics would be responsible for calculating, showing this? My question is, why is it that 8 and 9, with the cutoff point at 40, will bring you to these specific numbers that it says the number here, whereas all the other numbers doesn't say that number. It's these special numbers. So these, I don't have a name for it yet, but it would be like 12. It'd be like, not prime numbers, but like they're special numbers that maybe they're true numbers that show who they are in the same way that they're counted. Every other number, it's not the same number when you count it. Like 8 isn't 1 and 1 isn't 8, but still 8 is in the first box. But when you get to 12, it is 12 and it's the 12th box, again, by superimposing the calendar onto it. And so I see 12 as one of them, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, no, 20 is 40, 40 is not 20. They're close, but it's not it. So let's see here. So what these numbers would be 16, 32. Well, there's no 32nd day of the month. I'm gonna not count 32, even though 32 is a true number if you count it from the first up into a theoretical 32nd day of the month. You'd be in month, but this is very much to do with the months. It very much has to be in alignment and accordance with the calendar, because the calendar is what keeps structure. It's like a threshold. When you cross this point, you are no longer in July. Today's August 10th, so 10 days ago or 11 days ago was the last day of July. And once you cross over that threshold, you are no longer in July. So those ideas of domains are very important. So again, this calendar is a conceptual thought calendar that combines the lunar and solar calendars represented by the Gregorian and modern day Hebrew calendar or rabbinic calendar, the calendar that pretty much the whole, the Jewish community, the Jewish people of the world used to determine all the holidays outside of Israel. They determine a 2-day holiday, even though that's not really necessary anymore, but they keep it as a minhag and a custom. And in Israel, we determine when all these holidays are going to be based on this calendar, and it's in here, and the Julian calendar. And the Julian calendar formula is applied to the Hebrew calendar as well, which is a novelty. I don't think anyone recognizes that as anything, but I applied it as well. The Julian calendar is really strictly related to the Gregorian calendar, because the Gregorian calendar was the reform for the loss of minutes based on the calculation. And so that brings us to 13 days behind. But I applied the formula of 13 days behind the Hebrew date. So what else do I have to say? So let's just say I was explaining a lot of the thoughts and rules of the calendar, but I forgot even the whole thing of the day. The thing of the day is to find a gematriatic connection. So when I look at this calendar today, I'm experimenting with the idea of pathways. Pathways are like ways to get from one number to the other. Let's just say today's the 16th, so it's a 16. And, well, first, before I forget, 7 is next to 16. So 716 is a number that I identify the second row here, 716. 716 is found in pi. If you break up pi this way, 314 as one number. It's like a word. The first word of pi is 314. 314, and then 159 is the next so-called word. It's a 3-digit chunk. 314, 159, 265. If you keep doing that, and then you come to the second row, you'll see 950, 288, 419, and then 716. That is directly under 358 if you line it up like boxes. So that's interesting because the word Mashiach is 358, and Mashiach times 2 is 716, and 716 is directly under it. But I find it here too. But that brings me to my question about the Ketoret, the incense that in the Braita that lists in Kritot, I think it is, that lists the spices that are in the Ketoret. It goes. Let me see if I can remember it now. Elohim, sorry, Tziporan v'achel b'na v'aluna mishkal shivim maneh. Sorry, Tziporan, chel b'na v'alivona. Those four. Mishkal shivim maneh was the 70, which is like you can see it as 7. Okay, shivim maneh. Mor uketziyav shibolas nerd. Mor is myrrh, ketziyav, cassia, I think. The first one's like frankincense. Anyway, the point is the second ones are shisha, asar, maneh, 16. So that's 70 and 16. I see just a connection. I see the 7, 16 in pi. And if I see it, a permutation is fine. With like 70 or 7, you just flip the 0 around. It's fine, because as long as you're seeing the idea, it's an ideational calendar. So basically, if I see here 716, I'm going to think about pi 358 716. I'm going to think about the Ketoret 70 weight and then 16 weight. Find that there, and okay, that's the 16th of Av, and now we're in the 10th of August. 10th of August brings us to 5, and it's interesting that 5 is, and here's a pathway. You need the quickest way to get from 6 in this. Let's just say this is where a grid plan. This was a city, and you're in your house on this street, and you can only go vertical and horizontal. It's like a shtiva erev. You can go horizontal or vertical. So you go vertical. So you have to. The quickest way to get from 16 to 5 would to take this road, the 7, 39, 30, 22, 13 road, and then what happens? You go down these roads, then you encounter all these numbers, and the number theory is why do you pass these numbers to get there, and what are all the meanings of these numbers? But there's another sort of like new concept, is that if you're here on 16, you could, because it's a 240-day month, you have a 16 in this world, so to speak, and 16 in this world, 16 this month, that month. There are certain numbers that you have a 16 in both months, but there are certain numbers that only occur in one month. 16 happens to be a number that occurs in both worlds. Okay, they're in both months or both worlds. That means, so instead of going like this, you have to cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. You can go morph from in here, and you end up in here. Right? You're in this world because 16 aren't the same. You can just, it's like you're time traveling. You appear in a different reality. You're here. Here you go 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 steps, and you pass by a 25 and a 33. And I can explain why we passed by a 25. Because 25 is 52 backwards. And today's daf, the daf yomi, is Avodah Zarah 53, which is actually the 52nd daf. So it makes a lot of sense why we're next to this one. You're passing 25 and 33, and then you get to 5, which is going to be the 10th day of the month, which is going to be 5. Because this 5 is the same as that 5, right? And you can go 1, 2, 3, or you can go by way of 28. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 steps either way. But if you want to get from here to here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. It's double. So those are some thoughts on the PL-89 for today.